everybody, and welcome back to the Best in Guild Talandre Championship Series for EU. I am your host, Caster Blue Squadron, joined for the first time on the desk by Ethereal TV. There's a lot of fans of you in the chat, Zach.
There is a lot of people. I feel the love. I'm suited up. I got that three-piece suit on. Holy. Whew.
My
We're looking
man.
fresh today.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
We are looking good today. Zach showed up, my man. Especially on late notice, we got him approved, and he is all the way through. So we're very excited to see the matches today. Zach, what guild are you a part of? I believe they're in the tournament.
We are in a tournament, and I want to give a big shout out to all my guildies in Aura. I love you all, and yeah, we are excited to get to play our first game here.
Yeah.
Not today, but on Friday.
I was about to say not today, baby, but
Not
yeah,
today.
Friday though. Then you'll see. Then you'll all see. You know, it's a real shame with a lot of the EU guilds at the last minute pulling out, like Greed and so forth. At this point, the EU tournament could have been double elimination had guilds actually just done their job and actually said ahead of time, hey, maybe we're not going to be able to show up for our matches in time. We would have been able to see a lot more really fun Throne and Liberty, but sadly, there's only so much I can do as the tournament director. Okay, I'm just trying to make it work. So we only have 3 matches on the docket for today because some of the guilds just could not make it today, and that's too bad. But the first match of today is one of the tournament favorites as we look over towards Hand of Unity versus Ethereal. I think Ethereal has their work cut out for them. I'll introduce Ethereal. Ethereal's from the Fortune server, rank 2 in their alliance alongside Villains, Who Asked, and Failure, who F's in chat for Failure, who again, one of those guilds that just could not make it to the second round. It is what it is. The leadership just had to give up on that community. At their Best in Guild T1 finish, they were top 8, lost to Orca, who will be playing later today. I believe, nope, never mind. Their opponent pulled out as well. And they said the meta is snoozer, but that was honestly before they made the most recent ballot change, Zach. I'll let you introduce Hand of Unity.
So, Hand of Unity, obviously a lot of people know them, one of the favorite contenders to win the whole tournament. They play on the server Obsidian, and they are from Egypt, clearly. That's what it says. They are in alliance with Unleash, which is Disaster Unleash now since the merger, Greed and Visceral. They are first on their alliance, and we've met them in Nebula, and I can confirm that they are. They think that they will... they are happy that they will finally be able to fight people instead of having them dodge them, which is quite funny because they do in-houses all the time. We are the ones getting dodged.
Yeah,
but it is what it is.
Yeah, I was just as surprised at you. I did not realize the Hand of Unity was from Egypt, but the Egyptians represent on this one, and apparently Egyptians are extremely good at video games because they got second in the last Best in Guild tournament over there. Ethereal on the other side did not tell us what country of origin they hail from, so my guess is everywhere. My guess is everywhere. Now, as an Aura member yourself, I believe you're either the rank 1 or rank 2 seed in the tournament overall. And you guys beat Hand of Unity. Again, you guys were first in the tournament. Were you playing in the tournament last time it happened?
I was not. I was in Gulag. I was playing in Hot Grills back then.
So you were a loser back then, but now you're a winner.
Yeah.
That's okay. Now you're a winner. Are you guys scared of Hand of Unity this time? Or are you more excited? Because last time, everybody said it was like a 50-50 flip.
I mean, we're obviously excited. It's always fun to play Hand of Unity. They're a super good guild, and I have a lot of good friends there. They're super lovely people. So it's competitive, and it's also very fun. So, I mean, it can go either way, to be honest.
Yeah, okay, but this match, though, I'm just going to go ahead and say we're in a bit of a David versus Goliath situation with Ethereal here. I'm going to let you cover the pick ban because it's a little bit interesting.
Yeah, so Hand of Unity won, so Ethereal chose to ban. They chose to ban Koazan, Chernobog, Adentus, and Talus. And as we've seen in the previous broadcast, one popular map in the EU scene is Morokai. So it looks like we're going back to Morokai for today, which Hands of Unity chose.
Yeah, absolutely. Morokai, a very common pick for EU, and I'll be honest with you, it's certainly my favorite Riftstone to watch because you can approach from a lot of different perspectives at once. In my opinion, I think that Ethereal is fighting a massive uphill battle in this match, although they did beat Chaos X last match, and Chaos X, interestingly enough, that was supposed to be the strongest guild in their alliance. Ethereal just plowed straight through them like they were crops in a field, interestingly enough. So honestly, maybe they are, maybe they aren't the underdogs. Who knows? The scene on EU might just be that good on this one. It does look like the lobby is ready to go as we give the tournament director the signal to get going. We look over who are the Cordy crossbows? It looks like Cammy and Calyx from Hand of Unity and Zolas from Ethereal are the names to be watching for this one. So very exciting as we get into the lobby for our first game. We'll flip it over to the live scene as we pan through Morokai. We spawn in Narnia on Morokai. There we go. Ethereal in the red running over to the Riftstone. We'll see if they can get in position first on this high ground.
It seems like they're splitting up here in the first engage. They didn't spawn on the same portal. We've seen a lot of these engages.
Yeah, my favorite part about Morokai.
Yeah.
Yep, this is my favorite part about Morokai is both guilds squaring off against each other. Wyndham flew a little too close to the sun right there. Gets pulled in. It looks like Hand of Unity is going to be the one that pulls the trigger initially right now. As you see, Ethereal pulled the trigger on Hand of Unity. And wait a minute, this is really back and forth. Ethereal showing up. What is going on right now? Holy moly, look at that kill feed, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, they just decided to go for that initial engage. Usually when you stay up the high ground, you usually have people engaging from both the left and right. But here, Ethereal just decided to full send it.
Yeah, absolutely. They just said, you know what? Screw it. We've been the underdog in both matches so far. We're just going to send it. And now it's looking much more Hand of Unity favor as Sun gets a big kill feed right there. Smooth one Shredder Roulette rounding out that kill feed right now, and it's looking awful yellow on the other side. But a great first engagement for Ethereal right there. It's a shame it didn't ultimately end up going their way. What we're seeing is if Ethereal does get a solid engagement, they can tip the fight in their favor, but the overall skirmish, the players are definitely playing better on the side of Hand of Unity.
Yeah, I mean, that initial engage is usually somewhat of a coin flip. Like now they have stabilized, and we'll see how it looks when it boils down to the actual fight and the skirmishes is happening with the respawn teams and whatnot. Looking over here, they're still going for that first, and I've seen a lot of that happen. Like when a lot of teams, they just full send it through Portal 2 here. They should be trying maybe to send it, or Portal 1 rather.
Yeah, it looks like they are all spawning, and honestly, Hand of Unity is all over this spawn. I don't know if I would be wanting to run through the gauntlet of Hand of Unity right now, but you can see all of the healers and the tanks kind of bottled up in this choke point right now as we get the Ethereal perspective on this one. They are just slowly being rounded out no matter who tries to get through. Finally, Fufu Panda kind of gets around the side of the fight over here, and a few of these members do manage to get around this side. Kill Me LOL is playing tank, no surprise there, so that hopefully maybe somebody might target him for once in his life. He might be able to do his job, but he got his wish at the end of the day as he is turned into a tombstone as well. Ethereal forced to spawn at a different location finally gives an inch on that one, and that's exactly what I would do if I were a shot caller here. Is you need to go ahead and spawn at a different, and honestly, again, they're all just trickling in one at a time. Shows very lack of discipline on the side of Ethereal here as they spawned up and they just started running in, and now they're all just dead. That you need to group up and engage together.
And Hand of Unity really not giving them any time to really adjust or adapt or anything like that. They're just pushing it down. I'm watching Kami here, just zooming around like a crazy man, waiting for that big spin.
Like a
Let's see if
chicken
you can get something going here.
Yeah, like a chicken with his head cut off here. You can press T and lock on to people in war games over there.
Yeah.
It does look like Sneeko is pushing through as well, but he is doing what he can on behalf of Ethereal, but he's going to go down too. Even the tanks in Ethereal are having a really rough time. And again, now they're spawning at the third spawn location. And again, they're trickle spawning in to the third spawn location. This is just not how you want to play this. You have got to try to spawn at different spawn locations to make something happen. You need to hold your spawns, spawn together, and push into them. If we've seen anything out of Ethereal, it's that when they do manage to group up and push in together, they're able to make something happen. But sadly, they're just not making anything happen right now. There's Calyx with that Cordy crossbow right here. He is going to be spinning like crazy. We already saw one kill feed at the start of this fight as Ethereal tries to push on to the point. 5 seconds remaining before we see the point actually open up. I fully expected to see Hand of Unity take this one. If we look at the kill feed, it's very Hand of Unity favored, except for Ethereal basically taking over the damage taken right now. Hand of Unity does, in fact, initiate the first cap of the match. Only 3 people managing to get onto the point. For Ethereal, it's looking a little dire for them.
Yeah, I mean, I do like that they try to like not zombie rush it through the main choke here, because usually what ends up happening when you're spawning Portal 1 is that you go through this narrow passage here rather than running to the left or the right, like through the tree or like the camp. So I do like that they approach it differently every time. But right now it is looking pretty one-sided. I mean, you have Sun, for example, one of the spear daggers, like their spear daggers are just extremely hard to play against, doing extreme damage.
Yeah, absolutely. As I'm locked on to Keem right now. Keem running around looking for any Ethereal members that he can actually find, or Ethereal members that he can find right now. Oh my goodness, great sword daggers are so strong, but oh my gosh, he gets wiped out. And interestingly enough, the spectate actually took me up top on this one, and forced me to respawn with him. That was very interesting. As we look back down towards the fight, no surprise here. Hand of Unity basically trying to force a trickle spawn on the side of Ethereal and getting exactly what they want. Ethereal failing to be able to spawn as a group, as a guild together, and make something happen. And I'm going to tell you right now, they're just going to sit here and get farmed all match. If this is the strategy that they have prepared for this match, they need to hold their spawns, force Hand of Unity to spread out trying to scout them, all spawn in one area, wipe whoever happens to be there, and then try to push together to the best of their ability. We are seeing Madness get a couple kills here on the side of Ethereal. And again, that first engagement was super back and forth for Ethereal, but Hand of Unity has just kind of taken over.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, a lot of things that you can do, like one thing that you can do is to play rather defensive, especially when your team is, like the opponent that you're facing is somewhat underestimating you, because right now they're kind of just disrespecting them, right? Like they're just running up to them, meeting them at the portal. You can try and play defensively, push ever so slightly from 2 portals and just try to thin them out to the best of your ability. And you gamble, like say you have 80% on one portal, 20% on another. Watching Calyx here, trying to go in, looking for a huge spin. He gets one off, doesn't really find anyone.
Yeah, tragically enough, because everybody's already dead.
Yeah,
they're all dead, my lord.
Here.
Yeah, absolutely
they're here
tragic.
at the hook.
Absolutely
at the hook,
tragic. Hand of Unity takes control of the match. No surprise there. It does look like Ethereal is a little bit outmatched. They don't really know what to do into a guild. Just look at them just trickling in. Just a few members at a time. This is not what you want, because again, Hand of Unity gets exactly what they want when you just have 6 members run in, and then have your next 5, and then have 4 run in, and Hand of Unity all grouped up together. You see them constantly. They're just making Hand of Unity's job that much easier. You could see when it was head to head and both guilds were 48v48 at the start of the match, just how close that actually looked there in the first engagement. And Ethereal is just failed to replicate that success elsewhere in the match. Finally, a little bit of success here as Sneeko looks for a cap on the point. We'll see if he can go ahead and get that. No, gets interrupted there. San with a big kill feed on the side of Hand.
Crazy.
Yeah, on the side of Hand of Unity right there. But again, Ethereal just trickling into the fight a few at a time, and Hand of Unity showing why Hand of Unity is strong. Their guild name is that for a reason. In Unity, there is strength, and they're just walking around as one big blob, and they're killing the ones and twos from Ethereal. And Ethereal, I don't think has enough strategy to really back up and say, okay, we can get regrouped on this. You take this for granted. We see this in a lot of the other matches in the EU tournament, and honestly elsewhere in NA as well. Guilds that are able to back off, take a breath, get a regroup going, definitely have a lot more success in a situation like this. But guilds that just continually slamming their head against the side of the wall, yeah, I mean, you're just looking at a yellow kill feed.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, you gotta give it to Ethereal as well. Like knowing, like especially with the track record we have of people pulling out of the tournament, like late notice and whatnot, right? Like they still try to like step up, play the game, but I think they could like take a step back, try and regroup properly, split them up, thin them out. Like they are just zerging them right now, which is extremely hard to do against Hands of Unity because they play such a spear heavy composition. So they basically set themselves up like if you run 48 versus 48 against Hands of Unity, 9 out of 10 times you're gonna lose that.
Oh, it does look like we're seeing... You're absolutely right. Yeah, the spear meta in EU is absolutely super strong. Ethereal has, I believe, backed off right now, and honestly taking a breath to try to get regrouped. Everyone has died. Now they're all gonna spawn in together on this one. Hand of Unity looking for the spawn. Big spawn on the side of Ethereal right here, and it looks like Guardians are pumped. There's the first kill for Ethereal right there. Coming back for Hand of Unity. Another kill feed on the side of Ethereal. Look how much more success they have when they fight together. It's still Hand of Unity favored, but certainly a lot better than we were seeing the kill feed just a moment ago. A really solid engagement for Ethereal right there, Zach.
I mean, like they created space, right?
Yeah,
like they
good.
wrapped around them. They got some kills down. Like it wasn't looking bad, definitely. So that's what I mean. Like try and regroup properly. Try and thin it out. Now imagine if they would have split up like one extra step extra. Imagine if they would have wrapped around to the left as well, as opposed to just flanking them on the right side as a whole Zerg. Like if they start splitting this up and try to engage this from different angles, they might be able to thin them out. Because although they are doing a lot of damage in Hands of Unity, they're also extremely squishy, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of them. So
yeah, completely agree. Scythe over here on this staff dagger showing us why that weapon composition is so good. Ethereal spawning in once again, but this time spawn from Portal 2. I'm not sure that was the play you wanted it to do, as it inadvertently gave Hand of Unity. Some of them were standing on the point, some of them were still in the woods, and they got a perfect flank. That was not what you were necessarily looking for at that spawn right there. A beautiful setup flank for Hand of Unity. Ethereal walked straight into that one and gets wiped through on the back line. But again, that first engagement, some life breathing from Ethereal right there. Good pivot by the shot caller to try something different. Say, okay, guys, this trickle spawn strategy is not working. I don't know about the second spawn here. That was a little bit rough. You can see Targaryen and Astria and Taco in hell over here. Todd as well doing what they can on this back line, but they're going to get cleaned up too. Big Cordy Spin comes in and wipes them from the match right there. And I don't see very many Ethereal remaining. Looks like they might try another big spawn in the woods over here as Hand of Unity starting to scout for it. There it is, but good spawn for Ethereal, and they're all spawning in together. Here we go. We're going to see them try to engage Hand of Unity trying to rotate to the high ground as quickly as possible. They're moving over, and Ethereal has actually caught them, but now they're in the gully as well. A little bit of a rough engagement on the side of Ethereal, but you know what? They are getting some kills in this one, certainly looking a little bit better. But they did all kind of step into the valley right there and just get obliterated by Hand of Unity. So I'm not sure the play was to step into that valley as the rest of them are going to get routed into the woods this time. I believe if they had stayed up on the high ground, they would have had a little bit of a better time.
Yeah, it probably would have been better. Like the push previous to this one, like the one when they went to the left of the tree, the problem is the push itself was good. They just didn't realize that they had just been fighting them on the right side. So as they were pushing up on that left side, so the idea was right. They were pushing up on the left side. They tried to split it up, but they essentially ended up getting sandwiched, more or less.
Yeah, little rough.
But look at the point here.
Oh my gosh. Wait a minute.
They actually
How
got a
did they
cap
get
off.
over here, bro? Ethereal caps the
They started
point.
splitting.
Yeah,
Holy.
Ethereal caps the point. They all spawned at point 2, which is the closest one, or point 3 rather. Or is it point 1? It's point 1 over there.
Yes.
That is the closest one to the cap here. They do manage to get the cap off. Only 9 people standing on the point though, as Hand of Unity collapses down to try to put a stop to this rebellion.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, I mean, they are still trying to split it up, but again, like, you can see them just trickling in from that main choke, coming in with half HP. Another thing that I've noticed that a lot of guilds are failing to do is properly regroup, like picking up their players. Like, for example, if a DPS in your group dies, for me as a healer, for example, if a person in your group dies, you need to pick them up as a whole, right? Heal them up, get some buffs going, and then you push in, right? Trickling in with half HP doesn't really help. So I kind of feel like a lot of guilds do that. And also just trying to brute force chokes. That is not...
Yeah, brute forcing chokes does not work unless you are significantly stronger than your opponent, and that doesn't make it a good call nonetheless. Apparently the auction house is now available on EU, so you are all welcome for that information. Cried firing from this high ground on the Greatsword Dagger has found yet another target to lock down here. I'm curious how many Greatsword Daggers. This is at least the second or third one I've seen this match on the side of Hand of Unity. How often do you see oh, never mind. Hold that thought. As here comes Ethereal running on in, trying to engage 1 or 2 statics on the side of Hand of Unity, getting a lot of people low, but honestly, no, it was a 2-pronged engage. Some of them came from the other direction as well. They did pick up 1 kill, I think, in that fight, but not the most organized push that we've seen. As far as Greatsword Dagger goes, how many of those do you really want to see in a composition? How many is Aura running typically?
I mean, obviously the meta has shifted quite a bit with the buff, like utility buff to spears, with the Blood Leech Aura now taking stacks of like healing stacks. So it can like either healing touches or flash waves just gets removed, right? So people have been starting to slot way more spears, both SNS spears and also Greatsword spears, right? But I would say in a typical setting, you might see 2 or 3 Greatsword Daggers, usually in somewhat of a respawn group, like a respawn camper group, or like a very like assassination, like high priority target group.
Yeah.
Following Calyx here, trying to see, he's looking for a spin there in front of the point, probably trying to set himself up here.
Yeah, you can hit T and then zoom in and lock on to people.
Yeah, I am, but it keeps...
oh, is it bugged out?
I have to actually...
Yeah, I was gonna say,
no, it's way better once I...
Oh, it's way better.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, yeah, so now you're locked on. There you go. I was following Shredder around here. It does take some getting used to, but once you get there, it's pretty easy. Shredder here, honestly, doing a great job positioning on this staff dagger that you guys are seeing right now. Honestly, goes stealth right there. Look at the damage he is able to put down, beautifully positioned on this class. Now he's running for his life away from what looks like a crossbow right there. And ooh, he goes stealth. He's got him. He's running around. You can see that blue aura on him. Oh no, Gator! Yeah, the crossbow dagger. Gator's gonna go down. It was kind of a game of cat and mouse right there, but he just ran out of HP. Ethereal doing what they can in this match. To their credit, we've seen a number of different strategies from Ethereal. At the start, I was not very impressed, but now they've at least tried to spawn as a big group and gotten some pretty solid kill feeds down as a group, as PDM gets another kill on the side of Ethereal right there. But yeah, they are definitely struggling in this match right now. Hand of Unity looking dominant in round 1, but or I guess round 2 here. But I guess you come to expect that from this guild. They're just that strong.
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, you just... They're such a dominant force, and they have been for such a long time. And they actually, like, a lot of guilds in EU did stop playing, or like players swapped guilds. So they did have a lot of good pickups also from other guilds. Following I Crashed here, who has been absolutely popping off this war game, just going absolutely ballistic. He must have a field day, no? He's just running around everywhere, just not being contested at all, just farming these kills.
Yeah, tons of action basically everywhere. If you're a Hand of Unity fan, this is exactly what you want to be seeing. Wagon here on the Spear Dagger as well. Spear Dagger, certainly the weapon loadout of choice for the EU meta over here. We do not see it as frequently in a region like NA West or even NA East. I don't see it being quite as prevalent, but in EU, Spear Dagger is definitely the go-to DPS weapon loadout in this metagame over here. I click on Sun. This is yet another Spear Dagger. Honestly, are all of their DPS just playing Staff Dagger or Spear Dagger? Is that the play right now?
Yeah, I mean, call it what you want. I know a lot of people call it meta slaves, but like I would say to an extent, I guess we are meta slaves. Like a lot of the EU cooks just boils down to what is the strongest right now, and then people try to perfect it, right? Like if you watch something like Arena, for example, which doesn't necessarily show everything, but like the rating for Arena in EU compared to like Arena in NA is way, way higher. There's just more people playing Arena, which obviously helps you becoming better at your mechanical skill, right? Like most of the content when I stream TNL, because that's the only game I play, revolves around Arena, and you constantly see these Hands of Unity players, these top players, basically playing Arena 24/7. So yeah, I would say high APM classes that are proven track record to perform well in war games, and then we just zone in on that or lock in on that and try to do as good as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. Gungear right here. Not a whole lot to do as a frontline tank on Hand of Unity, man. It's a good day to be a tank. You don't have to do very much here. Splinter on this side as well. Again, the tanks are just trying to... they got asthma trying to keep up with the fight here because the spears can move so much faster. They have so much more mobility than they do. Here we go. Great Sword Spear on Smooth One right here as he dives through, and that's a great class to be playing right now as you're just tanky enough to be durable and your guild is right behind you. So bruisers are phenomenal in
sure.
a situation like this. They're definitely more of a win more situation here. Smooth One pushes through, and again, he's got 4 people around him, but he doesn't care because his guild is right behind him. Gets another kill right there. Beautiful right there. If we take a look over at the kill feed, or the leaderboard rather, with only 3.5 minutes left on the clock, I crashed for Hand of Unity. Look at this. Spear Dagger, Spear Dagger, Spear Dagger, Spear Dagger, Spear Dagger.
Yeah,
are
Jesus
all
Christ.
the top 5. Oh my gosh. Staff Dagger from Scythe coming in at number 6. Finally, you're seeing the Staff Daggers come in. But basically, every Spear Dagger the Hand of Unity runs is numbers 1 through 5 on that one. Assists on this side, you guessed it, Spear Dagger. Dominant 6.8 million damage done by iCrash. You were not joking. That guy's just running around killing the crud out of everything. Ethereal, hey man, don't tell me they're not on the leaderboard all together here. Their damage taken 2.1 million on that one. Amount healed almost 30 million on Explosion is Art. Halavune and Skullet, I can't say some of these names for the healers over here, but you know what? They're doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean, they're absolutely blasting now. I don't. They're just pressing Nature's Blessing on cooldown, getting those healing numbers in.
Yeah, they're padding those healing stats, bro. That over healing, really padding those healing stats.
Kami going in for a huge spin here. Let's see if he can get something off. No, I didn't really find anything here.
Yeah, Halavane.
He's just looking.
One of the best healers in the lobby here. You can see how well he is positioned. He's under absolutely no pressure. He's got a shield here. He's got what looks like close to full mana. All of his buffs running. He's constantly stacking that Nature's Blessing over there. And yeah, when you're not under any threat as a healer, you're basically the most impactful person in the lobby overall here.
I mean, yeah. I mean, everything just becomes easier when you're able to do it. Like your rotation as a healer becomes way, way easier. And I've seen a lot of VODs from healers in NA, and it is quite interesting. Like the way we play healer as a whole, we play it a bit differently. And So yeah, I would definitely say that it's more methodical, which can be risky as well. Yeah.
There we go. Ethereal engaging from the high ground this time, getting a couple kills, 3, 4, 5 kills at the start of the fight. Another one comes through right there, staying on that high ground. Definitely the play for their guild. Another couple of kills come through. Ethereal, one of Ethereal's best engagements right there, is they got all grouped up and ready set in the woods over here. It stood up on the high ground, and I think Hand of Unity intentionally took one of the worst engagements that they possibly could. Of course, they still end up winning on this one, but Ethereal, I think, doing what they can into the final minute of this match to try to get any kills that they can. Certainly a great showing for Ethereal, but Hand of Unity definitely going to be moving on in this tournament. It's tough, but someone had to fight Hand of Unity. Certainly some love in there for Zachariel. You got some wonderful love. Your beautiful ASMR voice. They love so much, Zach.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm one of the real ones, you know. I just stream pumping arenas all day and war games and whatnot. So everybody who usually pops in are super sweet, and yeah, thank you guys for all the love.
Yeah, exactly. We're seeing GGs on both sides. There's only 10 seconds left in the lobby. Ethereal will go down and be knocked out of this tournament, but you know what? They knocked out Chaos X. They had a good run through the tournament. Some of my favorite groups of guys right here showing up for their match today and showing us how it is done. Even if you lose, you show up and fight that good fight. I think having really good engagements into a guild as strong as Hand of Unity, they could go on and win the entire tournament. You don't know. And having good engagements into a guild that strong shows you how strong Ethereal actually is. Sadly, we will not see them move on in this tournament as it is a single elimination bracket. But I think they fought super hard here. Looks like I crashed at 192 kills. I believe that might be the highest that we've seen in the tournament so far. I don't know if we've seen 200 kills. I'd have to double check the statistics there. But again, and I love how he changed to a staff spear at the end, as if anyone was buying that at all. He's got a staff of enlightened reform. That looks, yeah, that definitely normal for sure there. 325 assists there as well for him. But again, the spear daggers and the staff daggers dominating the metagame for Hand of Unity. 7.4 million damage done at the top of those leaderboards. Damage taken. Top tank of the lobby was Saitai, Ninepine, Lalzunia, Apolana, and Toddlot are all the top all the top tanks of the lobby rather. For Ethereal, if you look at the top amount healed, Explosion is Art, Hailvoon, and Skulatgon are the top 3 healers of the lobby. We scroll down, let's look for the top. Ethereal, Apolana was the top healer in the lobby for Ethereal. The top DPS, or the top DPS for Ethereal is Ocean Blue. The top assists for Ethereal, oh boy, you have to go all the way down to Ocean Blue again. You guessed it, that man doing the Lord's work right now. Madness gets the most kills in the lobby on behalf of Ethereal right there. So not the closest match, but you got to give Ethereal credit, man. They looked good.
I mean, for sure. I mean, going into this, knowing how strong Hand of Unity are, and just still stepping up to the scene here, and I mean, they were trying. You got to give them that. They were definitely trying to wrap around. They were trying to do different types of engages, but it was basically too hard for them to stand up against Hands of Unity there.
Yeah, just a really tough matchup to get in your second round of the tournament, right? I mean, they were ranked 2 in the Best in Guild T1 tournament. Again, we still know that they could come out and win this tournament as well. So they're expected to go very far in this tournament as well. But again, they took out Chaos X, which was the top guild for Chaos. Chaos has 4 guilds representing them still in the current metagame, which is extremely impressive, but only 2 in the tournament, and knocked out Chaos X in the first part of this tournament, which was pretty cool on that one. So good props to them. If we look ahead to our next match of the day, it's going to be actually, you know what, I think I've got an instant replay of one of the better engagements right here. We finally see Ethereal get a regroup in the woods right there, but it's Hand of Unity collapsing down. And this is, again, you see a kill on the right side of your screen. The kill feed is heavily Hand of Unity favor, but you are seeing some red there, which is in contrast to the kill feeds we were seeing before, which was basically solid yellow the whole time, Zach. So finally, Ethereal grouping back up with one another, showing how, again, when you group up as a guild, you have a lot more success. So it's really cool to see them back off and do that.
For sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. A lot of guilds sometimes just try to zombie rush the point, right? They go in half HP and they just end up getting farmed. But doing those proper regroups, getting those buffs down and everything, and just try to push as a whole Zerg, splitting it up a bit, just goes to show that they started getting some red on that kill feed. So yeah, definitely
Oh my
good showing.
Oh, this next match actually just got so much more exciting. Just wait. Let's take a look at the guilds for our next match. Good fights to Ethereum, or Ethereal rather. God, I keep saying Ethereum. Those guys are still chopping trees somewhere like losers in North America. INFISM versus Void, the next match of the day. INFISM from the Cascade server. They're only allied with Hoffen right now, and they believe they are weaker than Hoffen overall. Rank 3 on their server, even with only 2 guilds in their alliance. No sieges won. Their prediction for the tournament was top 32, which I believe they've made. And they said, please, God, join us if you're a Crusader or Seeker, please.
Yeah, I mean, healers and tanks are in high demand. I mean, yeah, that's great. And on the other side, we have our ally, actually. It says Sin Bleed and Sin Nova. Obviously, we are Aura, Dusk, and Dawn now. But it is the Guild Void from the server Conviction. Alliance strength on the server, 3rd, can confirm. We have also won 5 sieges together with them. And whether you are ready or not, Void will consume you. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Absolutely. It is. Absolutely, Void might consume me. You know, you never know on this one. Based on your knowledge of Void as an alliance, do you think that they have the upper hand in this match?
I mean, if I'm speaking from my heart, I mean, of course, I mean, it's an ally after all. But I do know that they have been working this past month trying to regrow. They had a few people leave a few weeks back, but they did strengthen their roster, and they have been putting in a lot of work and effort. But I definitely think that this is going to be a really, really good match. We did some EU pick'ems before the tournament, like hyping up the tournament and whatnot. And I did actually predict Void to win this one, but seeing INFISM, it could go either way, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely it could. It looks like the lobby is ready to go, so we're going to go over to the versus screen here as we cover pick ban. This one is actually really interesting. Void won the coin toss, guys. They chose to pick. INFISM banned. Okay, they banned Pacolo, Adentis, Manticus, and Kawazan, interestingly enough, and Void, pulling a rabbit out of a hat, they had to have prepared this ahead of time, has chosen Chernobog.
I mean, there's no shot you play Chernobog unless you practice it. Like it's such a hard map, especially if you're playing no collision resistance and melee evasion. You're just getting passed around. But it's gonna be very interesting to see. For the Cordy crossbows for this game, we have XAE and We Crush for INFISM, and Gragas and Dumpy for Void. So it's gonna be interesting to see here how much work they will put in. It's quite a small point, so.
I'm so sorry. I just, the way you read that is Gragas' Dumpy on the side of Void, running running the Cordy crossbows. A little ridiculous. It does look like we are going to be go in the lobby here as we move ahead right now. Zach, I'm muted right now. Make sure you don't stand up and show everybody that you're not wearing any pants or underwear right now, okay?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, all right. So now we're back into this one. We are on Chernobog. You do not see this match very often here, but the reason you don't see this very often is for this reason. Both guilds spawn in, and it's an all-out bare knuckle brawl on the point. Dumpy getting at least 12 kills right off the rip of this match. Void absolutely slaying Queen off the rip of this one.
Holy, I actually pulled a tier one blue squadron. I didn't find the point. I remember you doing this.
Tell. I thought we had already forgotten about it. I love Zach is in the middle of nowhere. Could not find the point. That's okay. I drove straight through it. It's all good. I knew where it was. Blue Squadron doesn't play the game, by the way. This guy plays the game 24/7. Couldn't find the point. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. It is what it is.
Jesus. Yeah, it took me a hot minute, but luckily you beelined the point, so you got to see the action.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it happens on this map. That's what happened to me on T1 too. Is that you get turned around, bro. Everything looks the same. Yeah. You're in the middle of a desert. You know, it's basically Los Angeles. Like, why would you build a city here? Or why would you put a riftstone here? It is what it is. But it looks like the kill feed, very back and forth if you're a colorblind person and don't know what's happening. But if you are somebody that isn't colorblind, you're seeing a lot of red in your kill feed right now on the side of Void, as they have definitely prepared this map ahead of time. INFISM struggling, but you can see just how many people, they actually still have a lot of people on the point. Guys, that's because the respawn is just off screen down to our right over here. I'll go ahead and pan down to it for a moment. This is where they're spawning in. And again, all they have to do is do a short run up the stairs. And here they are on the rift point. And you can see that although Void has advantage here, INFISM is still able to get a lot of people on the backside of this point.
Yeah, and I mean, just looking at it initially, as we were talking about, XAE already at 1.4 million damage with 15 kills from INFISM in a losing first engage, by the way. So you're definitely gonna need to step up if you're a Cordy crossbow here, because there's a lot of value to be found. You basically don't really play for any chokes on this point. It's more or less like you obviously have on the backside of the point, you have the hook, and then you have the main stairs coming up to the point. But there's a lot of point brawl going on here on this map. So
yeah, we have
extremely interesting.
2 minutes on the clock. We're actually starting to see INFISM much more commonly in the feed right now, as you see them all grouped on the backside of this riftstone here. They are managing to take control of the rift. Void slipping from their grasp, losing control right now. Let's take a look over at the defeats right now. Weak Crush and Zay hard carrying INFISM right now. If we could get their perspectives, that would be crazy good right now, because look at that. They're the only ones on the leaderboards for their guild right now, keeping people off the point on the side of Void. Damage dealt right now, Zay and Weak Crush again. Those two Cordy crossbows absolutely outplaying the two Cordys over in Void right now. And then you're seeing Kisarix and Shagon. You're seeing this leaderboard actually be at the top end of INFISM showing up today. I think the lower end of Void might just be a little stronger based on what I'm seeing here, but you're seeing the leaderboard very back and forth until you get to the amount heal. And then you see Lacrosse, AFDF, Ding, Voidless, Zeras, and Yuki, all the top healers of the lobby. Look, what do you want me to say when your name is just nonsense?
I mean, looking at this is looking extremely interesting. This is definitely gonna be a banger. We can see them here grouping up at the back of the point. You have XAE, the crossbow, going in for an engage here. Playing super well, I must say. Like, they are just trickling in the back here, waiting for that play, waiting for that opportunity. XAE going into the point together with his group here. Oh, we're stuck here.
Yep, there's Weak Crush. I was gonna say, I'm looking for him. Weak Crush in the middle of everything right here, and I'm telling you, this is a Cordy-rich environment if you can group up with your static. And really, there's another big spin right there, although he didn't get any kills. Interestingly enough, it looked like it was going to be crazy. But look at all the kills on the side of INFISM right now. Void might be regretting that they chose this map, or maybe not. Maybe they knew that INFISM was the stronger guild, and they came with a strategy, and now that strategy is being undone before their eyes, as Void struggling to try to get control of the point. We'll see who caps it first. It's going to be Void is on the point first, and we finally can see that they have just barely more people on the point than INFISM does. Plushy going for a cap on behalf of INFISM now. On the other side of things, both guilds are now on the board, as neither one could really interrupt the point on this side. Dr. Pinuts on this high ground up here and getting knocked off the high ground by Hanzor IRL right there on that greatsword, that Crusader moving up there to knock them down off that high ground so that they can't fire. I'll be honest with you, this is super back and forth. This is one of our closest matches yet now. 34% to 11% right now. INFISM on bottom. Void barely managing to come out on top of this one so far, Zach.
Yeah, I'm looking at XAE here, following his POV. In that initial engage, as they were capping the point, he actually got pushed off the point and ending up trying to get back, which took him like 30 to 40 seconds. I mean, I do like here, as you can see, he just hooked the player down, like not having any downtime as a Cordy crossbow, really utilizing that weapon loadout that he's using with the SNS and the crossbow. So we're gonna see here if he's gonna look for a spin here, probably waiting for his cooldowns. Here he goes. Didn't convert anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sad to see. Oh my gosh, Weak Crush and CHS though come up big for INFISM on the other side though, as it looks like again they are really struggling. Void trying to stay on top of this one. INFISM, no matter how quickly they kill Void, Void seems to have the strategy in hand right now. Chicago X down there, I'm not sure he realizes that he's competing in the EU tournament. That's a North American city, or that's an American city right there. Gets wiped off the point once again. Void managing to barely, if albeit again, barely stay on top of INFISM in this one. I know the percentage is deceiving, 65 to 3%, but look how close the members are. 28 to 27, 26 to 28, and you see it bouncing back and forth constantly. But Void with the stronger strategy, whatever that seems to be, managing to barely stay on top of this Riftstone consistently. They're up at 69% and climbing. Certainly still taking them a while to get a cap on the point. You can see people being thrust off the edge here. This is a common strategy. Oh, I killed Mufasa. We call that the Lion King strategy. We're scarring people over here on the side of the map, just throwing them off the side of the cliff right there and hoping that their kids are going to be okay someday, as they have to run all the way around to make it back up here. INFISM doing what they can to try to make something happen, to make the difference right now. Void at 81%. It looks like INFISM's going to have to interact with the point one more time.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, like, as you can see, currently we have basically 3 Cordy crossbows in the top 6, which is like not super common. Cordy crossbows do convert a lot of kills, but in this current meta, it is hard to compete in terms of damage and kills when it comes to like spears, for example, spear dagger. But they are just absolutely having a field day here. Like this map is made for Cordy crossbow, so they're definitely gonna have a lot of work to do in this one. What I do want to see though is that when you secure the point and once you start like getting some control of the point, not only pushing towards the stairs but actually pushing down the stairs as well. Like you want to push up the front line and get control beneath the stairs. A lot of guilds that I've seen that play this map end up taking control of the point and then they just sit on top of the point up the stairs, right? But you kind of want to push it down to get control all the way there. Backside of the point, sure, you can have people, but it is easier there because you can hook them off, right? So even if they take the grapple on the backside of the point, you can still end up pushing, pulling, and whatever off the cliff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, so we have a point initiated right now. Void owns the Riftstone. And this is very important, chat. INFISM may have planned this. Maybe you give it to them right away. Now Void cannot build percentage on the Riftstone. INFISM has 15.5 minutes to essentially slowly cap this point. They basically just need to trickle on to the point. Continue. Oh my gosh, big kill feed for Void right there. Oh my gosh. Pushing INFISM right back down. It's going to be on Void to make sure that that percentage does not get the better of them. But already at 16% right there is INFISM. They have certainly have a lot of time to try to make this happen. But another big kill feed. Dumpy right there coming up big now. Weak Crush back on it. Dude, the Cordy crossbows are going. It's a target rich environment for Cordy crossbows, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, zooming in here at We Crush, just after a huge spin there, convert. No, he got Mufasa.
I was about to say that he didn't get Mufasa. He Mufasa himself. That would be if Scar threw himself. I killed Mufasa. Then he threw himself off the side of the cliff alongside him. Just absolutely rough. You know what I mean? Like, just you hate to see that right there. But honestly, that's their top killer in the lobby. That's the top killer in the lobby that has to run all the way around right now. And you can actually see that that's a big deal. Void, look at Void overwhelmed with just one man being out of the fight. Look at the discrepancy now between the two guilds. INFISM wildly down in people, as we just saw We Crush have to run all the way around to get back in to this fight here, as he's finally returning to the fight right now. And again, look at that. He comes back and suddenly INFISM is back on top again. So literally just one or two people making the difference for their guild here.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, one thing that I do, like zooming in on We Crush here, like during the downtime of a quarter spinner, you kind of want to get you kind of want to reset your cooldowns and whatnot, but you want to play like on the outskirts. You want to kind of try to line up your cooldowns, get your group going, and you don't want to die like that. Because like it's one thing doing it as your spin, getting value through that spin, but doing it as your spin is coming up, you basically have to play life essentially. It is basically the best play there.
Yeah,
he goes down.
He did go down. Rule Un Dragon right now. A spear dagger on the side of the point right now. And I'll be honest with you, if you're a dagger player, you love environments like this. It's target rich. Jumps on that one right there. Easy pickup right there for Dragon. Doing what he can here to try to stance on the point, go invisible whenever anybody focuses you here. You can see that again, that percentage down at 5%. Void doing a good job managing the percentage right here. And I gotta say, this is the people talk about it being a Cordy crossbow meta, but I'll be honest with you. And yeah, the crossbow is impactful, but teams are limited to only 2 Cordy crossbows per team. But particularly if you want those Cordy crossbows to be effective, Chernobog is certainly one of the maps where like okay, we know our Cordies carry us. Let's go to Cherno and really let them kind of get crazy with it on this one. So we're seeing the Cordies actually absolutely be the difference on this map here for both teams on either side.
Yeah.
Zach.
And I kind of feel like that rule that was enforced with limiting it to 2 crossbows just allows for like a way different gameplay, because like Cordy crossbow, while being an extremely strong weapon, like it truly shines in its like CC capabilities as well, right? Just basically locking a clump down. If you have like staff daggers following up, spear daggers just bombing into that clump, tank CCing into it, you cannot do it with crossbows alone. We've had war games where our Cordy crossbows, I heal a Cordy group myself. We don't get that much value depending on how we decide to spin, when we decide to spin, if there's more follow-up like from the rest of our Zerg and whatnot. So yeah, I definitely think that limiting it to 2 was the right play.
Yeah, absolutely. Locked on a Baron party right now, who is a healer on the side of INFISM, doing what he can to try to make sure that his boys stay healthy on this one. And INFISM certainly looks like they're winning on the point currently, but sadly their tanks are really struggling to interact with the point over there. We've seen them try 2 or 3 times at this point, and they keep getting interrupted. Nameless King now stepping up to try to interact with the point again. There we go. But not able to do so because every time he does, he gets interrupted on the side of Void over here. There's another gonna go for it right there. Gets knocked off the point one more time. Void doing a phenomenal job outplaying the front line of INFISM right now. INFISM forced Plushie trying to go for it right now. Can they interrupt Plushie? Plushie is going to get interrupted as well. Absolutely tragic. They're starting to run a little bit low on time now. 10 minutes on the clock. They certainly have enough time to flip this back the other way, but Void knows what they have to do and they're executing.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a really good job, Void, as well, just keeping them off that cap constantly, just CCing them and whatnot. Trying to find We Crush here as they're coming up. There we have him. Let's see if we can get him locked in here. Yeah, just chilling there in the back. XAE and We Crush. XAE going in there for a spin.
Oh my gosh,
Oh,
they
both
both
XAE
spun
and We Crush.
together.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was really, really good. I
Maybe
wonder if
that's why
they're playing
being
in
more
the same
effective.
group.
Yeah, I was about to say, maybe that's why they're being more effective. Maybe they have their Cordies in the same party with one another, and they're both just diving in and spinning together. That way, no one survives a double Cordy spin like that. That is... you're certainly putting all your eggs in one basket, but if you can execute it, it certainly looks really good. Another attempted cap on the side of INFISM, and they are struggling. If you're praying for INFISM in the chat, you need to pray for the front line specifically. Plushy doing what he can. You can see him trying to interact with the point. Nameless King trying to interact with the point over there as well. They're starting to get desperate right now. Dumpy standing around the point, just getting spin after spin after spin down on the side of Void over there. Soul on the outside of the fight, gonna go down with this staff dagger over here for Void finally as he gets locked down. The front line on behalf of INFISM is just getting absolutely obliterated. I think that they just maybe didn't bring enough resistances to make this happen. Jekt gets knocked off the point as well. Now we're gonna have looks like Chulad go for the point. He gets interrupted. Chulad goes for it one more time, gets interrupted again, and death is the best CC. He's gonna get knocked down. That's okay. Plushy is here to replace him. They are certainly getting desperate on this point. Plushy gonna take a lot of damage. He's gonna get flipped off and go down now as well. And again, just not enough CC resist on the front line of INFISM, and it is coming back to bite them. You have got to think that Void chose this map. They knew that this match was going to be close. Void knew what they had to do. They got control of the point. They were positioned first on it. They got control of the point. Their Cordies are doing their jobs, and now their front line is interrupting over and over again, but they make a mistake. And finally, INFISM is back on the board of this one, and it's with 7.5 minutes left to go on the clock. They need to start building that percentage, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, right now, they do have a lot of control at the back of the point towards the grapple. The problem is they're not really pushing up that momentum anything. Like, you need to hold that ground near the grapple, and you need to push up that front line, which they are trying to do right now. You see them moving in here. And look at the point now. It's actually 37 versus... Oh my god, bro. The kill feed is crazy. Now We Crush.
Oh my gosh. INFISM? What's going on? They're almost going to have two times as many people on the point. They are kicking it into gear right now. 37% and climbing. Void has been wiped off the point. The right side of your kill feed looks completely yellow. Zay is going absolutely ballistic. We Crush is going ballistic too. Nocturne starting to pick up kills as well. 42 people. They have twice as many people on the point now as they climb over 50% towards the win. And this one finally, Groggers gets a kill feed on the side of Void right there. But honestly, that percentage climbed so fast. Finally, Void manages to regroup and get back up on the point. But INFISM is rallying strong, Zach. I don't know if Void can hold on.
No, I mean, currently, they've actually pushed up their whole front line. As you can see, they had control in the back, but they actually pushed up, taking the fight to the stairs right now. Like, this is extremely, extremely tight. Like, one big wipe, and it's actually... this can go either way. Like, this is insanely interesting.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Big sleep on the side of INFISM right there as well. And We Crush getting another big kill feed right there. There's Awi God picking up a kill as well for themselves. But again, now that percentage starting to knock back down now as Void starts to take a little bit more control. But it's still 32 to 34. Nail-bitingly close on this point right now. Every single member needs to be contributing on the side of INFISM. And you see a lot of these people, Dulik, there's like 8 or 9 people on the right side of the fight. Stockfish, Shin, Azu, Undar, all those people are not contributing to their guild actually winning this Riftstone. Right now, they do have 30 people over the top of Void. We'll see if they can rally strong into the final minutes. Finally climbing over 50% once again. All it's going to take is one more big rally on the side of INFISM, and they will take it. I'll be honest with you, I would be popping Guardians right now and doing a big all major cooldown remedies, Guardians, everything you've got, and you go right now, because if they cap it on this right now, Void will not have enough time to come back and return cap on them.
Nah, this is definitely a push all, pop all Guardians, pop all cooldowns angle, just push through to that choke over at the stairs over there. Just try and push up that front line, get some control on the point. Huge kill feed now from Void.
Yeah, on the side of Void. Void squashing this resistance like a bug now as they've gotten back on top of it. There were 2 times as many people on the point there for even just a moment. Look how many people are outside the point right over here. They finally stepped in over there, but so many people for INFISM were standing outside the point, and that's the difference. One person's the difference. Theory, get your butt on the point right now. I see you on this side over here. Stop stepping outside the point. You're griefing the entire guild right now. Awi God steps onto the point as well. All of INFISM forced to stand tall on the point. Undar needs to get on the point as well. There we go. Finally stepping in right now. 29 to 28. There's 4 minutes left on the clock as the percentage continues to fall in favor of Void right now. 30% and falling. INFISM is running out of time. They need another big swell, Zach.
Yeah, they definitely need to do another big push. Again, they are having control at the backside of the point, but they need to push up towards the stairs. Like, just having control of the backside of the point doesn't really eliminate enemies. So they need to get up there and try and play with the main Zerg. You have basically 20 people at the back of the point right now, just standing there essentially towards the grapple over there. They need to push up towards the stairs and take some control.
They need another one of those big swells. They have got to get a really solid kill feed one more time. INFISM certainly has it in them to win this, but if they're gonna do it, they need to pull the trigger right now. As again, Void just barely managing to hang on to victory in this match so far. 3 minutes to go on the clock. We take a quick look at the kill feed right now. Again, it's very back and forth across the board. INFISM actually higher in damage dealt, but Void has better healers, and I think that's what's making the difference are the healers in this lobby. And certainly on a map like Chernobog, you would expect the healers to be the difference because it's an all-out brawl all the time. The healers that can get in a good position, the healers that can get themselves set are going to make the difference. Void has 2 times as many people on the point. INFISM is getting the door shut on them right now, dumping in the kill feed as well, shifting the kill feed. Rule on Dragon getting kills as well. INFISM is getting absolutely Baja blasted now, and it is looking awful dire. If you're an INFISM fan now, with 2 minutes left to go, we just don't see the rally cries coming through for that guild.
Kill feed coming in here though, but it seems like Void is stabilizing. Yeah. Let's see here. It seems like they will be de-ticking it all the way here. We're trying to make that one last push.
Now, if this cap gets thwarted right here at 2%, hanging by a thread, if Void shuts the gate on this, it's almost certainly a victory, and they will. INFISM coming down on bottom. Void is going to take this. Holy moly, what a risk. They knew INFISM was a strong guild. They came prepared with Chernobog in this one, and I think that INFISM just was not prepared for the Chernobog pick. You could see them scattered the entire time. You can see the front line from Void was prepared to stop that cap for minutes at a time on the side of INFISM. All it would have taken was one more solid kill feed. That was the difference. Again, they got all the way up to almost 60% in one push. They just needed one more solid wipe on the side of INFISM, and that would have done it. But again, practice makes perfect, and Void just kept practicing. Another cap's gonna go off, but INFISM is out of time. They've only got 14 people on the point right now to the 37 on the side of Void. They are certainly gonna take it all the way home. Zach, what a banger.
Yeah, this was an absolute banger game. And I mean, it is always great. I mean, this is why I love this tournament, and like, you never really know what guilds there are around, right? And to an extent, like, a lot of these guilds, maybe some people know them, some people don't. But just getting a game like this and getting this showing is absolutely amazing. I didn't know a lot about INFISM, but they sure gave us a great game here.
Yeah, they absolutely did. INFISM came out and looked really strong here. They beat OBL United in the first round of this tournament. I believe that maybe that was a Byra. I think OBL United, they did fight OBL United and knocked them out of the tournament here. And in round 2, almost making it through round 2 of this tournament, but time has run out. It will be Void on top of this lobby. You look at the kills, We Crush at 83 kills for We Crush, and again, it's very rare that you see the top killer in the lobby not winning not in the winning guild, but we are going to see it here. Rule on Dragon. Again, I was locked onto this guy. You could tell he was a gamer the entire time.
Absolutely.
The Spear Dagger right there. Dumpy coming in with some big kill feeds as well. In at number 3 right there, you can see Nocturne coming in at number 8 from INFISM. Yukisha down there as well. Wokas, Holy, and Heighten. A lot of Spear and Staff Dagger players in there. If you look over at the assists for the lobby, it's more of the same, but SVO Boyd coming in with the highest assist in the lobby on that Staff Dagger. You look at damage dealt. Wow. Damage dealt goes to Kisarax. Look at this. You would think that INFISM won this lobby. That's how well Void prepped this match. That's how close it was, guys. Kisarax, Nocturne, We Crush, and Yukishiba all basically locking out the top 5 almost. Rule on Dragon barely getting his name in there, but INFISM basically locked out the leaderboard for damage dealt, and were unable to come up with that victory there. Damage taken rather, on the side of INFISM as well, dominating that leaderboard. If you look at the healers, there is the story right there. If you are a healer or you're a Void fan, you've got to be getting on your knees for El Cross, praying and thanking these boys for showing up in this match, because these were the difference. Rain Runner as well, ASD, Zeras, Voidless, Cal, Frost Heal, Touche. Again, all of the top healers in the lobby were Void. This is why Void was on top. Despite having less damage, despite having less kills, they managed to pull out the lobby, because again, every single one of the Void healers beat every single one of the INFISM healers in this lobby. So big W right there, just showing how important the healers actually are, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, being a healer myself, this is like, obviously good healers are super important, but this was
a man of culture myself. Yeah, I get it.
No, but like healer diff is an actual thing to an extent, right? And I feel like when it's this even, especially with the damage dealt being this even as well, I mean, you saw it yourself, like INFISM didn't have any issues dealing damage. Like they had a lot of damage dealers that were absolutely pumping, some being number 1 on the actual leaderboard. But if you cannot convert kills, you just end up dipping that damage into nothingness, right? So extremely good game, extremely interesting, and well played to the healers, honestly, of Void. They did a phenomenal job keeping their players alive.
Yeah, the unsung healers of the match right there. And then Rule on Dragon, I see him in the chat. You did a great job. We were watching you for a fair portion of that last match there. Good fights to both teams. That was that was a closer match than we saw in the entirety of NA West yesterday. We had 8 matches yesterday. So EU busting out the matches. And as a healer myself as well, I can't agree. We are the most important all the time. You're all welcome for our presence. We look ahead to our next and final match of the day already, because again, it is a shorter day. Today is Disaster Unleashed versus SDC. Disaster Unleashed, you guys remember Disaster in the last tournament actually gave the best fight of the entire tournament, in my opinion, to the tournament winners, which was Sin Nova there. It was very, very close, took a game off of them. They said that their country of origin is Russia, Turkey, and Greece primarily. So if you're from those countries, you are represented in this tournament. Disaster Unleashed, rank 2 in their alliance with Hand of Unity and Visceral, rank 1 on their server. Their best in guild T1 finish was 3rd right there. And then their chat PvP, they said their prediction for the tournament was 3rd, but they said we already have enough drama. Please, no more drama. I'll let you introduce SDC.
Yeah, SDC from the server Judgment in the alliance of Ominous, Dream, and Abyss. Alliance strength on the server is 3rd. We saw them with a great showing in the first round, honestly. And the T1 finish, they were on the shoreline with the rest of the fishermen. They are, to a lot of people, known as a PvE guild, led by the GOAT Eugene. If you know, you know. And their prediction is that they will be above Requiem and Damage. So yeah, this is going to be extremely interesting.
This is going to be a banger. Both these guilds are extremely strong EU guilds in this tournament. I'm curious, off the rip, who do you actually favor in this fight? Disaster's been through, normally you would say based on the last tournament results, Disaster has been like obviously one of the strongest guilds in EU, but they're in shambles. They've basically died and come back like 2 or 3 times. This is the remnants of Disaster. Do you think they have what it takes to beat SDC, who has basically stood through all of this as some of the best fishermen on the whole server?
I think that this will be an interesting fight. I do feel like Disaster Unleashed might have an upper hand, though. There are a lot of good players there still. Unleashed has been a guild that's always played very good like war game content. And I think picking up those mechanical players from Disaster could be really good, but we'll have to see how much they've worked out together and how much they essentially got that synergy down.
Yeah, absolutely. As we look ahead to the versus screen for this match, there was a pick ban. It has happened. It does look like Disaster won the coin toss, which is a big deal. They chose to pick SDC ban. SDC chose to ban Adentis, Chernobog, Grand Alon, and Manticus. Some very peculiar bans right there, but SDC does not want to see Disaster on Grand Alon. Believe it or not, they were able to take a map off of Sin, I believe, in the tournament on Grand Alon, so they don't want to see that.
Yes.
The choice on behalf of Disaster, in this case, we're going to Azrael, Zach.
Yes, we are. I mean, me personally, I love Azrael. I love open maps. It's going to be extremely interesting to see here how they decide to brawl on the point, if they will actually brawl on the point. There's going to be small skirmishes, and it's going to boil down to those small skirmishes on the point, which static can actually pull off the most here.
Yeah, if we take a look at the Cordy crossbows of the lobby, it's going to be Crit, KR1T, and Lunier on behalf of Disaster, and Desper and Johnny Brazzoni on the side of SDC. So those are the names, guys, to be watching out for. But I'll be honest with you, we don't see the Cordys have crazy impacts on Azrael. As we see, sometimes guilds don't have any Cordys, they end up winning on this stone. We are in this lobby here. As we look at it, is Disaster in the yellow, and it is SDC in the red right now. Oh my gosh. They both spawn on top of each other, so there is all-out action now. Already at the start of this one, seeing Disaster slowly start to trickle in the kill feed right now as SDC starts to struggle, but there we go. The first kill on the feed coming in on the side of SDC, but I think that Disaster just had their number. They spawned in just a little bit sooner than SDC did, so SDC really struggling to kind of get their bearings in this match so far.
Yeah, I mean, it is actually a thing. I think a lot of guilds tend to like just initially, they initiate right on top of that portal. But doing what Disaster Unleashed decided to do here, which is just push up a little bit, and then you end up actually just reversing on them is probably the right play here, which you can see, because you can always revert to go back to the point, right? So if you decide, even if you have them running, as you're buffed up and everything, if you decide to just, let's skip this fight, let's push backwards towards the point, you won't end up getting sandwiched in the same way as they are getting now SDC, because you will have the respawners coming in from the portal, and you will have that main front line from Disaster also blasting them from the other side, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We see Biscuit here, the spear dagger on the side of SDC. SDC really struggling now. Again, I disagree with the call to continue spawning in a position where the enemy guild, when you end up in a position where they beat you to the spawn and they kill like 15 or 20 people right off the rip, you cannot expect your statics to be able to coordinate with each other if they're all spawning at different times. So right now, guys, what we're seeing is Disaster has snowballed right now, where all of their statics are standing right next to each other. Their healers, their tanks, their DPS are all standing next to each other. They're all coordinating. The DPS are all locking onto the same targets. Everyone's working together. And then on the other side, SDC, some of their static is spawning. Some of them are already in the fight. Some of them are already low. They're separated. They don't know where each other are. And so you get way less communication, and the fight snowballs really hard. Whoever's able to get ready set, as I like to say, first, basically is able to dominate the match. And we're seeing a Pac-Man effect where basically Disaster has a huge ball of people, and then we're seeing them just basically chomp down on each individual SDC member as they trickle their way slowly back to the fight. Now Disaster realizing that SDC is making a play for the Riftstone. Is making a play for the Riftstone, but there's only like 10 SDC members here. I don't think they're going to be able to hold this choke point. And when Disaster gets through this choke, and they certainly will, it's going to spell, disaster on the side of SDC.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you 100%. Like for some people, people keep bashing their head to the wall about that initial fight. But I mean, if you lose that initial fight, right, there is no shame in dropping that fight, spawning at another portal and taking another angle. Because what you end up doing is you end up respawning into a full Zerg that has full healing touch stacks up, that has flash waves up, that have all the buffs, all the rotations, all the cooldowns going. They're basically in the rhythm. So you're kind of not resetting the fight for yourself. You just keep bashing your head into a wall, as I said. But going to that Portal 3, pushing onto the point, now we see a much more even fight here. Even though the kill feed is looking a lot of yellow, you still end up having a somewhat more favorable fight.
Yeah, finally SDC getting their bearings a little bit. They are spawning at the undesirable spawn location, but in this case, you do what you have to do, at least for the start of this fight here. We look at Fantastic firing down from the high ground for SDC, gets pulled down immediately. That should show you how good Disaster actually is. Right there, but honestly, not able to lock him down. We'll see if he can catch a heal right now as he's really low, and his healer is almost nowhere in sight. He is getting healed up a little bit. There we go, finally managing to catch a heal there, and credit where credit's due on SDC. The healers clearly doing their jobs, what they're supposed to. They're struggling, but they're making it work. And now we're starting to see a few more kills come through on the side of SDC, even though it's still very Disaster favored. Disaster showing that they can absolutely show up in this tournament like they did last time.
Yeah, and I mean, very interesting to see this early on. I mean, it's only been 5 minutes of the initial fight, but you see a lot of staff daggers in the top, actually. So they have been blasting here. I'm following Borshik here, and as you can see at the side of Borshik, he's just free casting here. He's been doing this for the past like 30 seconds, basically. So a lot of value from their staff daggers right now, putting in a lot of work as we're moving into the cap here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering where the rest of SDC is, because I'm only seeing a few of them. A few of them are fighting over in the choke. A few of them are on the stairs. I think they're trying to spread Disaster out right now. The cap has been taken on behalf of Disaster, but you can see, there we go. Look at Soulkeeper trying to sneak a cap in on behalf of SDC right here. Sneaky does manage to actually get that cap off for his guild right there. Now the question is, can you actually get people on the point right now? Beautiful job by the front line of SDC. Good heads up awareness right there. There's only 1 or 2 statics on this side. There's 1 or 2 statics on the other side. SDC, honestly, I think again their plan is to try to spread Disasters thin so that they don't have to fight all on one front.
Yeah, currently watching the other portal right here, and there's basically 1 static holding off like 15 people right now, which is quite interesting. They do end up jumping down here, trying to reinforce the point, but there's basically only 1 static here, Blue, basically holding up 20 people for quite a long time.
I see that. Thank you for giving us that perspective. That would be where the rest of SDC is on this one, because I'm like, dude, it seems like their numbers are a little thin right now, but it's a 48v48. Where is everybody? It does look like the Disaster is going to cap the first point right here, as again, it looks like SDC is being hung up by 1 static on this high ground. Decky's on this high ground with his static here, doing a great job with Novlik. Who is this? Love over here, and then Liquid Brains, look, oh my gosh, pulling them back up, saying nope, trying to disrupt as much as they can in the SDC lineup, not letting them regroup, picking up kill after kill up here. This is where the fight is really mattering up here, as SDC struggling to get a regroup going right now. Liquid Brains constantly pulling people, Ratsa having to pull somebody, making a run for that ledge. They're trying to get off, like, please don't pull me, please don't pull me, go, finally get down right there. That static causing so much disruption on the side, but honestly, oh my gosh, it's not much better down here, but at least your guild is down here to help you. Ratsa doing what he can to try to make an impact on this fight, but Disaster outnumbers them 2-1 on this low ground here as SDC struggles to regroup, but doing their best.
Locked on to level 0 player here, being the highest damage in the lobby by 1 million to the second place, and 14 more kills than the second place as well, on 34 kills currently. Does manage to go down here, actually. SDC doing a good job. Yeah, actual cast the curse. But a lot of things, like one tip that I can give that I see a lot of guilds are not doing, is as the war is progressing, like just open up the scoreboard, look to see, okay, who is having a lot of impact right now, maybe swap that target and actually try focusing that target down. For a lot of top tier guilds, you usually have like prio targets that you end up marking or whatever you end up doing, and you basically just focus them down, right? But sometimes that can differ to what the reality actually is. So taking up that scoreboard every now and then and just locking on to those targets, maybe swapping prio targets mid-war, is not a bad thing, which SDC did here.
Yeah, absolutely. As we look ahead to this lobby, it looks like SDC has finally forced the fight onto the point itself, which is what you want if you're an SDC fan right now. They only have 20 people on the point, but at least the fight is happening on the point now. As they start to regroup on that low ground down there, they are not regrouping on point 3 now. They're doing their best to try to regroup on the closest spawn that they can, just sadly unable to come up with anything. Disaster so strong, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, Disaster are looking extremely good here. I mean, they are playing the way you should play. They are playing for the control on both the chokes. You essentially have Portal 2 or Portal 1 side, which is small stairs, and then you have like up at Portal 3 where they were basically holding control. Essentially, I do like the way SDC are playing right now. They are trying to trickle in, trying to thin them out, swinging wider to get onto that point, keep on capping Soulkeeper, going for a cap there again. So it is looking fairly interesting, I must say.
Yeah, they're doing their best to try to get up on this point, but look at this. Oh my gosh, bro. Disaster is all plunched up in this choke right now. And look at all the pulls coming in. You do not, that is a blender and a half right there. As you see, all 4 Cordies are basically trying to spin on each other in there. And then again, you have flash waves coming over the top of it. Focus fireballs with the AoEs from that. And again, the spears are in there as well. And Disaster is really just trying to lock down this choke from SDC. SDC really struggling, but honestly now it's starting to spawn at point 3, showing resilience as a guild to try to come out at point 3, catch Disaster unawares, and now Disaster has to pivot over here. Some pulls right there. Oh, Pipios pushing Taron off the edge right there. So good push right off the edge. Another attempted cap on the side of SDC, but it's going to get interrupted, Zach.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, the thing is right now, again, they did manage to get that push onto point. They are trying to do different stuff. Like, you can tell that they are trying to do different stuff. But I mean, looking at this again here, spectating one of the respawn groups, they basically have the attention of 2 full groups here, and they are not dying. Like, it's 3v12, I think, right now looking at this. But yeah, they're doing a really good job. The respawns group healers absolutely popping off here.
Yeah, absolutely. That static out there, and that's when you're ahead like this, you absolutely get to designate a static to go do that for you, and it can make the difference on Azrael. We see it when it gets really close. All of the statics are called to the point to rally for their guild, but that is just not what Disaster has to do here, as they look like the dominant guild between these two. The kill feed overwhelmingly yellow. SDC really struggling to find this footing. If we look at the leaderboards here, we look at the defeats. Level 0 player, 45 kills. You see Disaster Unleashed. Oh my goodness, the first SDC member coming in at number 19 is Classic right there. You look over at the assists, and again, very Disaster heavy on the leaderboard. Holy moly, the first SDC member coming in at 24th down there as well. So damage dealt, very Disaster heavy as well. Damage taken. Now we're starting to see some SDC and Ominous members in here. Amount healed, again, very Disaster heavy. The healers on Disaster definitely the difference makers for their guild, especially when they're fighting a very comparable guild like Sin Nova. We saw them really overperform in the best in guild T1 tournament.
Yeah, I mean, being in Hot Grills in the last season, obviously I wasn't playing with Sin back then, but to me, like, that was basically grand final content. Like, it was such an amazing war game, that one. The Disaster versus Sinova. So I mean, it's nice to see, and I mean, part of this Disaster roster is mainly the part that was playing in that game and Unleashed. Obviously, they have a lot of good players as well. As I said, we played them before, and they are playing very strategically well. in the way they approach the game. So it's nice to see them actually stepping up here.
Yeah, absolutely insane. Naman Bars has not even been touched since I've been locked onto him. And that's just the healer perspective on behalf of Disaster Unleashed. They just don't, they're not under any pressure. It's so easy to do your job when your DPS are just this dominant. In this case, Molly on the low ground right there on behalf of SDC gets wiped out. SDC fullbacks off the Riftstone right now as they try to regroup on this high ground by 0.3 and get collapsed on by Disaster once again. They cannot stop Disaster from coming up this grapple, which is not a good sign on the side of SDC. It does look like SDC even struggling in a really solid engagement for them. Just like that. Oh, there we go. A few more kills coming through. Definitely a lot more SDC favored now as Disaster overextends a little bit. We're definitely seeing more red in the kill feed than yellow, which you don't normally see in this matchup right here. But that's what happens when you overextend. Getting a little bit overconfident there, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this, we were seeing on the opposite side right earlier, they were actually pushing up quite far, and it kind of ties back to that first game I was talking about, like sometimes regrouping and just waiting for the enemies to make the mistake. As we saw in the Hands of Unity game, here they actually were thinning themselves out in the Disaster Unleashed, and that ends up giving an opportunity and an opening for SDC to actually make a push here, and they do end up pushing onto the point, which is quite interesting.
Yeah,
see if they can get a
SDC
cap
getting some
here.
life back in them right there, because again, Disaster overextended onto that high ground, and again, that's not what you want to see if you're a Disaster fan. Maybe they just got a little bit overconfident. Everybody does make mistakes here and there, but you can see, oh, look at that cap going off 70% before Vegas manages to stop it right there on the side of SDC. It does, again, it rallies SDC over to the point, breathes some life into that red squad over there, and SDC putting on the best show that they possibly can. They did a great job in round one of this tournament, but I think that they might be looking at getting knocked out here. There's Fantastic. Look at this gamer playing from the high ground right now, doing what he can. Again, this is a staff dagger perspective on the losing team right here. Gets immediately the moment that I see him lock on. He was looking really good there for a moment. I was keeping an eye on him, firing from the high ground, jumps down to the low ground, gets one shot by I think it was a flash wave. It might have been a Burkant dagger. Who knows? As that weapon seems to be just a bit bugged at the moment. Just so everybody knows, Burkant dagger is sadly going to be banned from the tournament after today, giving guilds a chance to basically change up which dagger they are using, because it is bugged on current patch, sadly, in this case. But it is currently enabled, at least in these matches today. But in the next matches on Friday, we should see no more Burkant daggers. Again, we're just trying to make a fair tournament environment for everyone, so that we're just trying to even things out. I know that that's a very popular weapon, but sadly, we're just not going to be able to use it anymore. Novlik right here on this healer, and again, another POV where, look at this, his health is not even being touched on this one. He's just not even being moved right now. They can't even look at the healers because the DPS are all up in their face, Zach.
Yeah, there's an absolute brawl going out on here, but what you don't see is that they are trickling up from the point as well. I'm watching Mordred here just absolutely blasting them on the point here. Is he? Yeah, he is wand cursing from up top here. One dagger he's playing, actually. We've seen some one daggers actually in this tournament, Blue. No, they've done quite a lot of damage, especially in the EU. I haven't seen anyone in the NA, I think, but in EU, I think we've seen quite a few.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
wand daggers.
Yeah, we definitely, it's the only region which we see wand daggers really be popular is on EU. There are a few of them on NA, but they do not perform very well. Certainly EU knows something that North America does not, with regards to that weapon and how it's supposed to be used properly, because we see the wand daggers in EU actually, we saw them actually being top DPS of not one but two matches so far on EU, and yeah, very, very impressive to see that coming in, because again, you don't ever see that on NA East or NA West.
No, it is interesting to see what all of these guilds are cooking, actually. Very interesting. I'm gonna try and find this player here, Desper, being third in damage at 4 million in the team of SDC. Very interesting to see where he's actually finding that damage.
Yeah, Phantasmic over here. We'll see if I can get a better perspective on him now. Oh, he's being hunted. Oh, he's being hunted. He comes out of stealth and gets immediately locked down. They know he's someone. But oh my gosh, his static peels him. He's still alive, trying to put down damage.
Oh my.
Right there. Absolutely incredible. He got locked down, but then his spear came in. He said, no, live, my son. And he actually gets out of that position. The hunter has become the hunted as SDC with a massive flank on this fight. Absolutely beautiful right there. Getting a lot of kills going down. Fantastic finally does end up going down at the end of that fight, but actually a great flank engage on the side of SDC, trying to help each other out. You can see just how resilient this squad is and just how dominant SDC can be against certain guilds where they are working together. They are basically calling things out in voice with one another so that they can help each other survive in this case. It's just not quite enough so far. Right now they have 7 people on the point, 33% right now as they have a cap going. Disaster being kind of held up in that choke, 36%, 37%. It's still climbing, 40% for SDC. Unleashed Disaster having a hard time getting back to the point. They have 2 times as many people on the point right now for SDC. How are you slipping like this, Disaster, with the fumble of a lifetime, letting their opponent get up to almost 50% on there on one good engage, and then they let them slip through a huge fumble. This is why they got knocked out of the Best in Guild T1 tournament. This is why they weren't the rank 1 guild in EU, is because you have these moments where Disaster looks dominant, overwhelmingly dominant, and then it's punctuated by these moments where they just make these massive mistakes, and you can see the brilliance in SDC's strategy right there coming through. And as they've been dominated all match long, it's been a solid yellow kill feed. We get up to 48% on the back of one good engagement, and now look at that kill feed coming through for SDC. And again, only 20 people on the point, but now not nearly as dominant for Disaster either, as they struggle to get back on top of this match. The shot caller for Disaster is a disaster right now. SDC's caller is so much better. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right now. And I mean, it ties back down to like they are just overcommitting. I don't know what they were doing in that fight, trying to spawn camp them. SDC was like, okay, you can win this fight. Let us go Portal 3, push on to the point, and then push up to the choke. And that's what they did. And like, just for a few seconds, they went up to 50%, absolutely dominating that point. So yeah, I mean, you got to be locked in for the whole war game. you cannot slip up.
Yeah, you cannot slip up like that, because I'll be honest with you, had they slipped up one more time, or for like one more push right there, it would have been an absolute disaster for Disaster, ironically enough. And SDC with 23 people on the point, and again managing to start to get a lot more kills in the feed here as they breathed life into their strategy right there. They got a beautiful flank coming in on the side of that fight, and they used it. They don't take an inch, they take the whole arm. At the end of the day, it does look like ultimately the cap is going to get snuffed out, but it takes Disaster a hot minute to get back on top of this match.
Yeah, looking at this now, the cap being gone, I mean, that was an amazing push from SDC. They're really trying to get onto that point, pushing up the choke, and strategically playing that really well. But they end up getting mowed down on the point by Disaster Unleash. But they were struggling to get back to that point. Like, they were struggling, Disaster Unleash, to get back onto that point, but they stabilized.
Yeah, absolutely. As we start to see the healers on behalf of, we're starting to see the healers on Disaster. As I said before, they were untouched before. Now they're actually being touched in a lot of different places. I can almost show you on the doll where they're being touched all over the place. They're getting all of their hands all up in those healers. They have 29 people on the point and climbing right now. This is not because Disaster rotated off the point. This is because Disaster got wiped off the point.
Oh, look at the kill feed.
Kill feed for SDC. 2 minutes on the clock, and SDC flips the switch. What is going on right now? 36-27. Disaster, where are you? Look at this fumble right now. A disastrous fumble. 38% and climbing. Disaster really struggling to get back on top of this one as they all come clamoring back to the point right now as SDC rallies.
I mean, look at this point. It's 43 versus 39. One big wipe here, and they're basically gonna be in double digits here.
It's going to be literally one wipe is the difference. If SDC can get a really clean wipe right now, they will win this Riftstone. At the final moment, 32-37, it is nail-bitingly close. Right now as Disaster struggles to stay on top. The shot caller from Disaster needs to be fired at this point. He keeps telling them to rotate off the point, and now they're like, laggy. We might lose this one. Disaster running back to the point right now, and SDC certainly the higher IQ guild between the two, as they somehow are managing to thread the needle. Look at the kill feed on the right side of your screen. How are these people almost winning this match? What are you doing, Disaster? What is happening?
I don't know. Like I'm lost for words, honestly. It felt like they are completely inting this. Like, I don't know how they were playing, why they were playing like that. But not only, like, they didn't fail, they didn't int initially. They just ended up losing the point and then losing the fight.
Yeah, they literally just lost the fight. They got wiped off the point. Initially, it was because they got out-rotated. They got flanked out in the corner of everything. Now it's just because, again, then they just got outplayed, plain and simple. Now I think finally the shot caller for Disaster has kind of pulled his thumb out of his behind and realized, okay, we all just need to stand on the point right now because all 41 members are now standing on the point. I think it's because Disaster spread themselves way, way too thin. They had like literally at least 4 statics standing off the point doing their own thing. They all got wiped. Then the statics on the point got wiped as well. And again, that's not a good look on behalf of Disaster. They are going to take the match all the way to the finish line, but not before SDC gives them a run for their money. And that shows you just how strong SDC actually was, mainly because again, like, Disaster is supposed to be one of the strongest guilds in EU, and again, very disheartening to see them almost throw the match away. Although I'll be honest with you, as the person shot casting, it certainly made it interesting for us. If we take a look over at the kills right here, again, guys, why did SDC almost win this match? Look at the leaderboard. Level 0 player, Pojar, Mard, Disgrace, Sidecar, Louvre, all at the top of the leaderboards right here. A Greatsword Dagger from Mardine at number 3 is extremely impressive. Crossbow Dagger from Disgrace at number 4, also extremely impressive. On the assists, again, all Disaster Unleashed. The top SDC member coming in at Desper right here, all the way down at number 17 right now for his team. And again, Disaster, the same usual suspects here. Pojar in at number 1, but you cut, oh my gosh, I have to scroll all the way down to get to Fantastic right there, all the way at number 24 on behalf of SDC. Damage dealt 3 million for level 0 player right there for on the Staff Dagger. Damage taken 2.3 million. SDC dominating, and Ominous in Alliance together dominating that leaderboard. Out healed again. We scroll all the way down. The first SDC we see is Clara Miss. We've seen Clara do a great job in this tournament so far. Was the top healer in their previous match, I believe, as well. So showing up once again on behalf of SDC. Chrislaw, Global, Uwu, and Ufin right there. Also Saroni, the top 5 healers of the lobby on behalf of Disaster. But it was almost exactly that, Zach. Almost a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, this was a really fun game to watch. I mean, obviously Disaster had the upper hand throughout the... I see chat here is going crazy saying, how can that be? But the thing is, like, obviously Disaster were farming them, and for the majority of the fight, I mean, probably even the entirety, it was very one-sided. It was extremely one-sided, but there was a small portion, even so 30-40 seconds, where SDC had the upper hand. The kill feed was looking more red, and I mean, for anyone who plays this game and plays in a war game setting, you know how fast you can flip that switch and just get that cap off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
incredible.
I mean, that's what makes it interesting, right?
Yeah, let's take a look at one of those, the instant replay of one of those pushes that went their way. You can see Fantastic on the side of this fight gets locked down, but look at his friend come in and saves his life Live, my son. And again, that's the start. Look at the red feed on the right side as the SDC players start to work with one another. As that, again, that engagement just goes their way. Disaster with a huge fumble right there overall, again, because the shot caller for SDC is just outplaying Disasters left, right, center, and forward, man. I'm telling you, the SDC strategy was clear and above better. You had Disaster come in, they spread themselves too thin, they got way too cocky. There were multiple points in the fight where SDC somehow gets the upper hand, despite the fact that you've been farming them like cattle the entire match. They get over 50%, not because they out-rotated you, but because they just wiped you, not once, but twice. Unbelievable right there, but it was still good fights to both teams. Of course, Disaster does manage to come up with it, but that's really good for them because I want to see them progress in the tournament, but definitely a lot to sort out before they go into their next match. It's good fights to SDC. I'm really glad that they showed up for this tournament in the way that they did, demonstrated how great that organization and that guild actually is, and that group of people. Disaster, I gotta give them credit. They've had a lot of drama recently within their guild and guilds and the various alliances that they've been in, showing up for the tournament and still managing to keep it together, albeit it was shaky and we were nervous on the desk. They did manage to come down with it, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, but this is what's so great about this game. Like even in a losing position, just getting that right engage, finding that right timing, having an enemy that overextends so that you can get that cap onto the point. Because what ends up happening is that when you're panicking, even if you're farming an enemy team, if you have to run back to the point with half HP, getting sandwiched like that from both sides, both where you initially fought and then from people on the point. This is why we do it, right? This is the love for the game. So
yeah, absolutely. It's certainly why we love Thread Liberty so much, is the large scale PvP. It's certainly not the contracts that we have to do every day. Those are not as pleasant. We love the large scale PvP. We love coming together as a community and seeing who is best on top and performing with your various guilds and whatnot. It does look like, guys, that was our last match for the day. Only 3 matches for EU today, as several guilds pulled out of the tournament. So it is what it is. We're going to be back tomorrow with NA East, as those matches are going to be very, very close with one another. I think I'm going to end up throwing it over to Wakayashi, as I have not gotten a raid that sexy German son of a gun yet in this tournament so far, and he's raided me at least once or twice here. I know that Waka Clan is participating in the tournament. You can see him literally playing a game of StarCraft basically on his screen as he's shot calling on 5 screens at once as they're practicing for war games right now. It's unbelievable. It's actually crazy. I want to give a big shout out. Can we get some W's in chat for AGS for helping support the tournament in a huge way? 1.3 million Lucent prize pool, all of the advertisement that they've helped and the publicity they've helped drive to the tournament. The special drops, guys, are all AGS. We're all going to get special titles the last week of the tournament as well. Squadron Commanders, pretty cool title at the end of the day. So even if you're not participating or you get knocked out of the tournament, just sitting here watching your favorite creator even spectate the tournament, even if you don't necessarily like me very much, everybody is Zachriel here. You can watch his stream as well, but we'll get to that in a second. But big shout out to AGS for sponsoring the tournament or supporting the tournament in a massive way. I really appreciate it. Lucy, we can wave hi to Lucy, my tournament director, in the chat. Appreciate all of the moderators that came out and helped moderate chat and make it basically the production possible today, as basically the entire production rests on my shoulders, and so Lucy helps me with the other tournament organizers, basically make sure that chat is in line and that the matches are set up and ready to go. And finally, I want to give a shout out to my boy Zachriel, who at the last moment here, last night, I was like, yo man, I know I said that I might need you. Can you show up? And my boy Zachriel the King showed up to cast. So chat, if you want to see Zachriel shoutcast with me again, show me some love in the chat for him right now, and then show me that in Discord as well for him too. So Zach, you want to give yourself a shout out right now?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you for all the sweet messages in the chat. You guys are awesome. And also to AGS, for helping out with this event. Small shout out as well to HDegar because he reached out and made this happen. So HDegar from my guild. You can watch me stream live on Twitch, guys. I stream pretty much every day from 7 p.m. Europe time CET. I stream Arena, I stream War Games, I stream tier lists, I do build guides, I do VOD reviews, everything that's Throne and Liberty related. You can find that on my stream pretty much every day from 7 p.m.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Zach. I certainly appreciate you coming on to the caster desk.
Thank
We're
you.
going to utilize you more in the future. Certainly one of the crowd favorites that I have seen in the tournament so far. A lot of love in the chat for my boy Zach here. Appreciate all you do for the community here. Sadly, those are our only matches for EU today. Normally, we have 8 to 10 matches for EU every day, but a lot of guilds just backed out at the last moment today. So, you know, it is what it is. We got 3 banger matches out tomorrow. The matches will start for NA East at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then we'll be back to NA West on Thursday, where those matches will start at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then again, Friday, we're going to be back with EU. We should have 8 to 10 matches for EU on Friday, hopefully, assuming no guilds back out, but we'll see. I don't know. Hopefully more matches on Friday for EU, though. From us here on the caster desk, guys, have a great rest of your night. I appreciate you guys all tuning in and supporting the tournament. We really appreciate it so much. At least I definitely super appreciate it, because it takes me a lot of time to put this together, as I don't get to spend time playing the game. And people always make fun of me for not playing the game, but that's because I'm making this tournament, I swear. I love you guys.